What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Limited Resources. This episode number 708. My name is Marshall. I'm one of your Limited Resources, and joining me on the line all the way from Denver, Colorado, it's Luis Scott-Vargas. Luis, how's the vintage cubes drafts been?
Oh, been a lot of fun. People are getting better at cube. Because we have about, I don't know, 6 to 8 people who are in almost all the cubes, some number of them. And then we have like a couple people who like float in and out. And then recently some of the Euros have started getting like Bondi, Andreas Peterson, like
I saw that.
They started drafting, and everyone is just kind of getting better at cube. It's pretty fun to watch, and it's been really fun to play.
Those Euros were watching the juicy cube drafts go, and they're like,
they saw me drafting, and they couldn't resist. They're like,
mid-range Luis in the house. If you don't know what we're talking about, by the way, we're talking about the vintage cube drafts that Luis does on his YouTube channel, which you can find a link to in the show notes or over at lrcast.com. And they do off of Magic Online drafts, on the same site that we use like for the showdowns that we do with Lords of Limited guys. And then they build the decks on Magic Online and play them out. And it's been awesome. If you love vintage cube and you want to see not only a lot of it, but also high level, and then in the hands of Luis, you got to check that out on his YouTube channel. Also, before we get into the show this week, by the way, we're going to do the draft walkthrough this time. So kind of the super crack-a-pack, where instead of just talking about what we take for a pack one, pick one, we're actually going to do a whole draft. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the whole draft play out in front of you. And then if you're listening, we will be updating what's in the deck as we go so that you can follow along with the picks. Because, after pack one, pick one, or pack one, pick two, maybe it can get a little bit sketchy. Things change really quickly. We always talk about this on the show, and we like to do one of these per set so that you can get an idea for how we approach those things. But like I said before that, I wasn't here last week, and that was because I had kind of a family medical emergency. My mom actually had a cardiac arrest at home last Saturday, so I got the phone calls for that and rushed up to the hospital. She ended up being on life support. It was actually looking really bad, but she woke up 2 days later, and she's been on the road to recovery ever since. She's in pretty bad shape. She had CPR done to her. She had to have a procedure for a pacemaker defibrillator put in. She had a blood clot in her arm. So she had a really, really rough week, but she's still with us. She's doing about as well as you could possibly expect. And I thank you for allowing me, Luis, to attend to that last week. I don't like to miss the podcast, but of course, when things like this come up, it's necessary. But anyway, I just wanted to give that update because I had a few people ask, hey, I hope everything's all right. And that's what was going on. So for this week, again, we're going to do the draft walkthrough. I wanted to mention that the show, of course, is brought to you by you via the Patreon. Maybe it's you. Is it you? Patreon.com/limited resources is where you can go. It could be you. You can support the show directly. If you haven't been on Patreon, it's just a really great way to support the creators, right? It is one of the reasons. YouTube is another big one as well, but it is one of the reasons that we've been able to have people list on their career content creator, right? In the days before these things, say 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, you weren't really able to do that because there wasn't a way to monetize. You could be really good at what you did. You could write great articles or make great music, or even in the early days of podcasts, make really good podcasts. But there wasn't really a steady avenue by which you could monetize it and make it part of your career or your whole career, like how Luis and I have done. And Patreon came along and really kind of changed the game on that because it's so flexible. It allows you to sign up to support your favorite creators, and you can do it for kind of any amount you want. It's fully flexible. You can leave, you can come back. There's no like commitments or anything like that. And you get some cool bonuses as well. And we've been with Patreon since they very first opened up, and I'm a big fan. I really view them as an integral part of how smaller content creators like us and others are able to keep doing these things, because the bottom line is, if you just look at how content creators work, if they don't have the monetary incentive, it's not that it's all about the dollars, right? Like if you start doing podcasts for money, like you should be doing something else with your time, right? It's not a smart way to go. But if there's nothing there, it is really hard to keep putting your own money in and keep coming back week after week after week after week. Where if there's something there where it can be part of your job or supplement your income or whatever, then you can say, you know what, like this is worth it. And like, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time, right? And I don't feel like I'm spending it inefficiently, especially as you get older and have adult responsibilities and stuff like that. So at any rate, we have a Patreon for this. We have for a long time. As I mentioned, it's patreon.com/limited resources, and it's in the description. And, even if it's not us, check it out. You probably your favorite, smaller artist, podcaster, whatever is probably on there. And, I support multiple things on Patreon myself just because I think it's such a cool platform to be able to do that. At any rate, one of the perks that you get for being a patron is you get access to the Patreon feed, which is just where we can post stuff to everybody who's our patron. It's not that complicated, but it does mean that we get a direct line to our most dedicated listeners. And one of the things you get there too is you can ask questions on our Patreon question of the week thread, which I'll put up usually about once a set. I'll refresh it. This one comes from Raymond, who says, limited drafting seems to be very well supported these days, but is there anything you wish WotC would do differently? Definitely agree with that opening statement, right, Luis? Like there's no, like, I don't feel like drafters or limited is left behind or you know what I mean, or in some dark corner of Wizards of the Coast. Like it does feel quite well supported.
Definitely. I think that we're in a lot of ways a golden age of limited with these arena opens. Like that is a really strong kind of incentive to play and practice and be good at limited. You get these exciting tournaments you can play from the comfort of your own home. But we also had no longer see like the big in-paper tournaments that are limited, like Grand Prix are probably the biggest one. We do have now these 100K tournaments. There's going to be one in Barcelona, one in Vegas. And if those do well, I expect to see more of them. And
the one in Vegas at least is limited.
Yeah. I think they both are. I think the Barcelona.
I didn't even know there was one in Barcelona.
Everyone got so excited about the Vegas one, they just announced one in Barcelona as well.
Very cool.
Yeah. But even stepping away from the tournament play opportunities, because some people, that's not what they're in for, we get a lot of sets, and I feel like the baseline quality of a set for limited these days is pretty high. I think they're pretty good. Like they know the best practices, the cycle of 10 two-color uncommons that are signposts, the land cycling or fixing or sort of mechanic that kind of helps smooth out draws, the fact that they have maybe a little bit too standardized of like a curve of things you can expect in each color. But even with that, I think the net effect of all this is they don't miss that often in limited. They do sometimes. I think Phyrexia All Will Be One was a pretty big miss. I think that format was truly bad. But most of the sets aren't. Like if you look at the past 3 years of sets, which is a lot of sets, how many of them do you think were like D level or worse? And it's just a couple.
It's like 2 maybe, and there's
AFR, Phyrexia, like,
and a lot of B's and A's
probably
as
one
well.
Or two more, but a lot of B's and A's.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I'm happy. Like, I think that limited is a thing that in a corporate environment, it could be easy to lose track of because sometimes it doesn't pull the exact same numbers as what constructed could, that type of thing. But it is a really important part of the ecosystem. The people that love it absolutely love it, like me, you, and our listeners. And I think that they get it. I really do. Like the effort that they put into getting those arena opens up and running. And as we've seen them tweak them over time, they obviously take them seriously. I'm sure they're very profitable for them as well. And that's to me all the better. The other big one was when we went back to the Pro Tour, right? We had the arena opens or the arena championships and stuff like that during the pandemic. But when we went back and said, okay, Pro Tour's back, very critically, they kept the same structure that it had before with one draft on day 1 and one draft on day 2. I mean, that's 6 rounds, that end up being super, super important to how the top 8 plays out. Like you cannot stroll into the Pro Tour and not understand limited and expect to do well. Like, expect the top 8 or do really, really well. So I think that that's another sign, that they understand how important limited is in the ecosystem. So yeah, I'm really, I have no complaints, which, Yeah, normally I would use a question like this to try to like maybe get an idea I had out there, but I actually feel like they really get it in the building, and I'm really happy with where things are at. Okay. Luis, before we jump into our opening draft, we're going to do a premiere draft and then we'll also do a traditional draft. And if you haven't been with us for one of these draft walkthroughs, we're just going to do the entire draft. We won't play out the games here on the show because it'll take too long, but we will do the entire draft plus the deck build so that you'll get a chance to see how Luis and I approach, in this case, Lord of the Rings Limited, and what our decision points are and how things might change as we progress further into the draft, where other factors rather than just which is the best card and the best color end up being important. Again, if you want to see us do this, you can go to the YouTube channel for limited resources, and this will be on the video version. But I will consistently update, by mouth as well, so that for those of you who are driving in your car and doing your dishes won't feel like you got lost on what we were drafting. And the other thing is, Luis, before we actually jump in, is kind of where are you at on Lord of the Rings? Like,
I like the set a lot.
Change for you? Like, yeah.
It has gone through, and I've been drafting both on Arena and Magic Online just to kind of cover my bases. I feel like it has gone through a decent kind of rotation in terms of, at first, black and red were just way too open all the time, and I felt like you could always get a busted black-red deck. Mm-hmm. Now, black and red are both drafted at, I think, a more appropriate level, and it's not quite as simple. Blue is still a color I really like, and I will draft green sometimes. Sometimes that's just the right thing to do. So overall, I've actually been pretty happy with not only how the format was to begin with, but how it's evolved. Mm-hmm. And I like the format. I think it's a good format. It's in the top tier of formats for me. Like I would say that this is a format I'm happy playing. I've done a ton of drafts. We'll continue to do a bunch of drafts. Yeah,
I think it's a win. And I will say that, coming in, I was a little wary. It became obvious that they really, really wanted to push the flavor. Makes a lot of sense, for multiple reasons to do so. But sometimes that can come at the expense of gameplay. It either gets too simple, or sometimes it even gets too complicated. One trap that designers can fall in is, what they call them a top-down design, where you have an idea for a card and then you try to fit that into the realm of a Magic card, right? You say, okay, well, I want to design a card called Lightning Bolt. Well, what should it do? Well, what color should it be, right? Should it be white? Probably not. So you start kind of going, okay, well, we should probably make it red. Okay, yeah. And then, well, what should it do? And you start to workshop, on the team to figure out what to do with it. Well, those ones in the early days were pretty straightforward. But when you take complicated things like characters from books, you're like, I want to make Frodo, but before he left the Shire, it's like, whoa, okay, how do you do this? And all of a sudden you can end up with this big block of text that's a little bit obscure. They did dip their toe into that territory. There's definitely some of that going on here, but overall it ended up being okay. And they still managed to stick the landing on the gameplay. That was the thing I was most worried about. When I saw the ring tempting, I thought, yep. Is this that interesting? And like, is this going to play out that interesting? And it's like, it ended up being like a C+. It's like, it's okay. Like, it is interesting enough. It is a thing you can do. It isn't like, I wish every set had ring tempting in it, but it's like, okay, right. They pulled it off enough that it doesn't feel boring to the point that, it annoys me.
Yeah. I think that when you look at a set like Lord of the Rings, especially like one of these like Universes Beyond heavy flavor sets, there is a lot of kind of boxes you have to check when you're making this set. Mm-hmm. And not all those boxes, like they can work at sometimes cross purposes with gameplay, but I feel like they pulled it off. They made a bunch of flavorful cards that kind of feel right for fans of the books and, the story in general, that also play well. And that's kind of the dream. That's what you're trying to do.
Let's jump into the draft here, Luis. Looks like we're already ready to go, so I'm just going to hop us in. I'm going to be that guy for a second and let the timer go down so that we can make sure everything's set on our end for producer Jeff, who has to keep up with us as we draft. But all right, our first pack is up. And rares and uncommons, we've got Mary, Esquire of Rohan, Faramir, Field Commander, Bill Fernie, and Stone of Eric. As far as black cards go, because that is honestly where my eyes go, we've got Kirith Ungol Patrol, Mordor Muster, one of my favorites, and Troll of Khazad-dûm. Red cards are Battle-Scarred Goblin and Rush the Room. There's also a Glorious Gale, which has proven to be a pretty good card. Colorless, there's a Shire Scarecrow Olympus. I will mention the green card out of necessity. It is Revive the Shire. And then we have one other white card, which is Now for Wrath, Now for Ruin. My eyes go to Mordor Muster and Glorious Gale here. Where do yours go?
I would say those two and Troll of Khazad-dûm. I think I'd actually rather take Troll over Mordor Muster.
Ooh, offensive.
They're both good. I don't mind taking either of them. But
so if I took Mordor Muster, you wouldn't be mad at me?
No, I think that's totally reasonable.
Okay.
I think that Glorious Gale's better than either of those cards, but starting with black is still better than starting with a blue card.
Okay. So we took Mordor Muster because I got stubborn there. Next pack up there's the Bath Song. There's also Gorbag of Minas Morgul. Shadowfax, Lord of Horses. Boy, if we would have taken Mary, we would have had 2 gold cards. And that's it for the uncommons. Red cards, Oliphant, Erebor Flamesmith, and Rush the Room. Black card, Snarling Warg. There's also a Nimmerdale Watcher. And then there's 2 green cards. Even the best one, which is Enraged Huorn, isn't on our radar. And then there's an Inherited Envelope. The 2 white non-uncommons are Esquire of the King and Now for Wrath, Now for Ruin number 2.
Pretty easy Bath Song. I think it's just the best card in the pack. So starting with Glorious Gale would have worked out a little better in this spot, but it's still fine. I mean, I don't think you can pass on the Bath Song. It's just not a very strong pack.
We can rinse our opponents with this thing.
Oh yeah, I do love Bath Song.
The funny part about Bath Song is the 2 blue mana. I just never factor that in, and then when I go to cast my spell that turn, I'm like, oh sweet, I really get to double spell. Ooh, speaking of sweet, we got past the nice one here. Saruman's Trickery is our uncommon. There's also Dunedain Rangers, and then out of the commons, there's Hithlane Knots, Pelagir Survivor, another Mordor Muster. There's also a Smite the Deathless here, Luis, as well as Quarrel's End and an Orcish Medicine in your favorite Shire Terrace. Saruman's Trickery for me is just too good to pass here.
Yeah, I would take Saruman's Trickery here. I found this card to be awesome. It's not going to be the best against the aggro decks. You play against white-red, you're not like thrilled, but it's going to be very good against any other deck, and even against the aggro decks. It's still a nice little 2-for-1.
It really is. Anytime you see a Mass Orcs on a card, if it's a Mass Orcs 2 or more, you're getting like effectively a full card or really close to it of value. And a Mass Orcs 1 is like a solid half card. Like Saruman's Trickery is like a 1.5 for 1. All right, next is our uncommons are Shire Sheriff and Gandalf, Friend of the Shire. That's the 3 and a blue 2/4 flash Gandalf. And then another Smite the Deathless here. Red is definitely open. There's also a Deceive the Messenger. And then in black, there's a Mordor Trebuchet, which has proven to be not super great. So we have a bit of a fork in the road here. Stick with our core color blue and take Gandalf, which is a decent to good card, or pivot into red and take Smite.
Oh, I would certainly take Gandalf. Getting a 4th pick Gandalf after Saruman's Trickery and Bath Song, like blue is certainly open.
Definitely.
And even though red also looks open, I would still just stick with blue here because I think Gandalf is very, very good.
I do too. I routinely will flash that thing in and just try to snipe some attacking creature, and I don't care if my Gandalf dies. And if it doesn't, it can really become an engine. All right, pack 1, pick 5. We actually have a rare. It's Lotho Corrupt Sheriff. There's one uncommon, but it's Stew the Conies. What do we call it? Rabbit Bite. And then there's a Captain of Umbar. In red, there's an Oliphant and a Warbeast of Gorgoroth. In black, there's Nasty End Snarling Warg. There's a couple of white cards and a green card that we're not really considering here.
I think I'd probably just take Oliphant. I don't mind Nasty End, but you haven't seen much black so far. Red has seemed open. Even if you pass some smites and red won't be open in pack 2, it'll still probably be open in pack 3. And also these Bath Song, like blue control decks often splash black and red. So I think it's taking the red land cycle is a good start to that.
Blue is definitely open. Pack 1, pick 6. Arwen's Gift, Lorien Revealed, Pelagir Survivor. There's also a Willow Wind here. in blue. So 4 blue cards, including 3 like outright playables, and then there's also another Oliphant. What do you like? Lorraine Revealed, maybe?
I think Lorraine Revealed. I think Pelargir Survivor is also a totally legit card you could take here, but I wouldn't take Arwen's Gift over either of them. I would start by taking Lorraine Revealed, though.
I like it too. I think the first Lorraine Revealed is really nice. This is a super clean design.
It's a modern playable.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, tons of modern decks are playing it now.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't have to know that because anyway, we'll talk about that later. Pack 1 pick 7. Minds of Moria is the rare. There's Stern Scolding, Dreadful as a Storm, Greyhaven's Navigator, Captain of Umbar, and an Isolation at Orthonk. There's 5 blue cards left in this pack. There's only 8 cards in it.
Yeah, between Isolation and Stern Scolding, I think I would take Stern Scolding. Your curve's kind of high right now.
Okay.
And I like having a couple counter spells.
I was going to take Isolation, but you're right. Our curve is a little high. And it's our curve, Luis. It's me and you. This is a team effort.
Oh, sure. Well, got rewarded, I guess, in the sense that there's another Stern Scolding. So there we go.
Would you play 2?
Yeah, you can play 2 Stern Scoldings. Totally fine.
Sometimes these conditional cards are the type that kind of go down, a bit in multiples. This pack has a Snarling Warg and a Swarming of Moria, so really nothing else left. So we're just going to take a second. Stern Scolding.
Oh man, that first pick Troll would have looked a lot better than Mordor Muster right here.
Then what?
The first pick Troll of Khazad-dûm would have looked a lot better than Mordor Muster with this current set of cards.
Why? Why do you say that?
We have all blue cards, 1 red card, 1 black card. I'd much rather that 1 black card be
I see.
A cycler.
Sure. Our wheel pack is back. We got Bill Fernie back. There's Stone of Erich. There's a Lembas, which I guess I'll take. A Goblin, maybe. I don't know.
I would take Lembas. I don't know. You're not going to play the Goblin, whatever.
Yeah. Pack 1 pick 10. Now for Wrath, now for Ruin. Nimberdale Watcher, Snarling Warg, Russia Room, and an Inherited Envelope.
The envelope seems good. I mean, you might be 3 colors. I like all the ring tempting stuff. It seems totally fine to play that. And then here we've got a pack with 2 green cards. They're actually decent green cards, Dunedain Rangers and Hail of Arrows or whatever, Shower of Arrows. But I'd take Hithlane Knots. I think Hithlane Knots is a solid card. It increases your spell count at very low cost. And Shire Terrace is the last card. I just don't like Shire Terrace. And oh, wow, look at this. Wow. This pack has 3 cards. One's Deceive the Messenger. What
crazy. Pack 1 pick 12, Deceive the Messenger. Blue is just wide open. Yeah, I hope we get some good red out of pack 2, like in the early picks, and then we can move in. I'm just going to take the War Beast of Gorgoroth with our pack 1 pick 13. There is a Captain of Umbar, but we're not going to play that. Oh my God, we super wheeled the Arwen's Gift.
Last pick Arwen's Gift. Well,
wow.
As it turns out, Glorious Gale would have been nice. But
look at these first 3 cards in our pack 2 pick 1. First is Gandalf the Grey. That's the 3 blue red one. Then there's Éomer of the Rittermark. That's the best uncommon in the set. And then there's Fear Fire Foes, which is like the 3rd best uncommon in the set. Wow. Oh my God. What a pack.
Yeah, this is definitely something.
So I love Gandalf the Grey, but my gut says it is just Éomer.
Yeah, as much as I love Gandalf, they're both comparable, as in they're 5-mana cards that are very good, but Éomer asks nothing of you, and Gandalf asks a decent amount more. You have to have mana untapped, have to have a spell ready. Honestly, I don't think Fear Fire Foes is unreasonable either, but I don't either. I think I would still take Éomer.
I think
it's just really strong.
This is one of those ones where Éomer would be 3rd on my list of just like what I want to take, but my gut tells me that it's first on my list of what leads to wins. Yeah. Okay, next is we have a rare Gimli Mournful Avenger. That's the green red one. We're not going to be taking that. There's another Stern Scolding, and I assume the 3rd one starts to really drop off. The only other blue card is an Ithilien Kingfisher, which is like, okay. But in red, there is a Rohirrim Lancer. There's no black cards in... Wait, there's like actually no black cards in this pack. There's the Rise of the Witch King, which is gold, but... and then there's a Gimli's Fury, but I would just take the Lancer.
Yeah, I think Lancer's fine. What do you have for ring tempting right now? You have Inherited Envelope, and you have Gandalf. You really want to pick up some more ring tempting because you have the 2/4 Gandalf.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that sounds like a good pick.
I'm going to take the Mordor Muster out of there for now, and we'll just take the Lancer. Oh, and we got past a great blue card, Rangers of Ithilien. That card's been really
blue
good.
is just amazingly open here.
Like nobody's playing blue at this table. We did cut blue, so I guess this would be where we'd get a pack 2, pick 3 Rangers.
I mean, getting a bomb rare third pick is awesome.
Yeah, and there's also
this deck's looking quite good.
It is. There's a Glorious Gale and a Treason of Isengard in this pack, and then everything else is kind of junk. Black is super not open. There's one black card in this pack too, and it's a Kirith Ungol Patrol. It's not even that good. So just to recap, we have a Deceive the Messenger, 2 Stern Scolding, a Rohirrim Lancer, a Hithlane Knots, 1 Battle-Scarred Goblin, a Saruman's Trickery, an Inherited Envelope, an Arwen's Gift, a Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, a Rangers of Ithilien, a Bath Song, a Lorien Revealed, an Aomer of the Rittermark, a Warbeast of Gorgoroth, and an Oliphant. And now we get past Foray of Orcs in pack 2, pick 4.
Yeah, I mean, it looks looks like red is still fairly open, despite the fact that the person that you passed a couple smites to.
What do you think about Foray of Orcs?
Great card. I mean, the baseline is 4 mana, 2/2 that deals 2, and it just kind of goes up from there.
I'm a big fan. So we'll add that. How is our curve looking? Right now we have 4 1-drops, 2 2s, 2 3s, 4 4s, 3 5s, and an Oliphant. So you need to pay attention to that, but raw power wise, we can't say no. Yeah, the hits just keep on coming. Pack 2, pick 5, another Saruman's Trickery.
Wow. Yeah, we're getting hooked up here. It's pretty nice.
Man, we're really good at this, Luis. Like, no wonder people listen to us about how to draft.
Yeah, this deck's shaping up to be a banger.
Just get past a bunch of bombs, and it's easy. There are 2 other blue cards in the pack. There's another Arwen's Gift and an Ithilien Kingfisher. There's also a Gimli's Fury for red. Everything else is green, blue, or junk. So we'll take the Saruman's Trickery, number 2. Okay, finally, pack 2, pick 6, a pack that doesn't have much for us. There's a Rising of the Day in red. In blue, there's a Hithlane Knots and a Treason of Isengard. The only other blue card is a gold card. It's Gwaihir, the Windlord. Yeah. That's the blue-white 4/4, and then everything else is junk. Actually, there is a Great Hall of the Citadel, although I guess we're not. We've got just a couple of legends right now.
Yeah, I'll just take Hithlane Knots, I think. I really don't play Treason of Isengard anymore. I have found the card.
I don't play either, yeah.
To just be too weak.
Okay, pack 2, pick 7, another junk pack for us. There's 1 card in either of our colors, and it is Captain of Umbar. So I'll probably just take Shadow of the Enemy.
Sure.
And just stash those gems. That's a mythic rare, by the way, if you haven't seen it. Okay, pack 2, pick 8. So this is the pack before our wheel. It does have a Deceive the Messenger in it. And that's about it. There's a Fires of Orthanc, which I never play. There's a Grima Wormtongue in black, which I actually do like, but we're not really there. And the only other card in our colors is a Hithlane Knots number 3. We already have 2, and we're probably not even going to play them. Did anything wheel here out of our opening pack? No, it did not. So it looks like some people got the memo and picked up those red cards, but there is an Oligai Crusher and a Swarming of Moria, as well as a Wizard's Rockets.
Yeah, I guess you could just take Wizard's Rockets, or you could take the Swarming. Swarming's not a crazy pick here, actually.
Our creature count is 7. We could use a few more. I'll take it. It's not actually 7. Oh, it took Legolas.
It took Legolas, but yes.
Yeah, because we were too busy talking. Pack 2, pick 10, Ithilien Kingfisher over nothing. So what do we want going into pack 3? If I look at our curve,
I mean, you want Smite the Deathless more than anything else. You wouldn't mind a spell build around. You have what, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 spells already. So there's a decent amount of spell build arounds that could be good. Okay,
we picked up a Willow Wind, a Cast into the Fire as we wind down pack 2. I'll read our deck real quick again. We have 2 Deceive the Messenger, 2 Stern Scolding, a Rohirrim Lancer, 2 Hithlane Knots, a Battle-Scarred Goblin, an Ithilien Kingfisher, two Saruman's Trickery, an Inherited Envelope, an Arwen's Gift, a Gandalf Friend of the Shire, a Rangers of Ithilien, a Bath Song, a Foray of Orcs, a Lorien Revealed, a Willow Wind, an Aomer, a War Beast of Gorgoroth, and an Oliphant. And that leads us to pack 3, pick 1, where we get nice Fearfire Foes. There's also Meneldor, Swift Savior. The rare is Shagrat Loot Bearer. That's the black-red 4/4 for 4.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
Nothing for us, but there's a Fearfire Foes in the pack, and there's also a Pelargir Survivor, which maybe could wheel.
Oh, that would be really nice.
Mm-hmm. How have you liked Meneldor, Swift Savior? That's the 3 mana, 3 and a blue for a 3/3 flyer, and when it hits a player, you can blink creature.
I mean, it's fine. It's mostly a 4 mana 3/3 flyer, which is certainly passable. It doesn't do a whole lot more than that.
Okay. Next pack, this is pack 3, pick 2, by the way. In our colors, there's a Greyhaven's Navigator, an Isolation at Orthanc, an Olagai Crusher, and a Rally at the Hornburg. So that's got to be our pick there.
Yeah, it's a shame because there's a Fell Beast, Acclaim the Precious. There is a lot of
Torment of Golem.
Really strong black cards in this pack. But I think I'd just take Rally. I don't really see a reason to play a third color in this deck.
I think it's just if we wanted to take Isolation at Orthanc. I like it as a removal spell, but our curve is a bit too high. So I think Rally is just a better card anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so we take Rally at the Hornburg. Next pack up, Goblin Fire Leaper at Uncommon. That's the 1 in a red 1/1, and you can Fire Breathe it for 1 in a red. And when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. There's also Bewitching Leechcraft, another Kingfisher, Break into the Fellowship, and there is another Rally at the Hornburg as well. So my eye goes to Goblin Fire Leaper and Rally. It's between those two.
Yeah, I think I would just take the Rally. You don't have a spell builder on yet, but you're not that far away from getting one. Just one would be pretty good. And I think that getting a Gandalf sanctioned 5th pick is certainly doable on this table.
All right, so we're going to take Rally at the Hornburg number 2. Next pack has another Bill Fernie. That one's just a total whiff. Arwen's Gift, Surrounded by Orcs, Warman of Moria. Here's a Haradrim Spearmaster. It's a solid common.
Yeah, the Spearmaster's okay. I think this pack, I guess I would take Spearmaster because you have 2 Rallies. Pumping up the Rally tokens isn't bad. You don't really need another Arwen's Gift here.
Right. We already have 1 Arwen's Gift and 1 Lorien Revealed. You don't want to overdo it with the card draw spells. You want just the right amount. Okay, we'll take the Spearmaster. It's just a solid creature at 3. That gives us 27 cards in our playables currently. Pack 3, pick 5. Looks like we've got a Deceive the Messenger, an Ithilien Kingfisher, an Oliphant, Gimli's Fury, and a Willow Wind. I would just take another Oliphant.
Yeah, Oliphant's great. And also, I love Deceive the Messenger, but once I have 2, I'm not really in the market for a third quite so heavily.
Okay.
Kingfisher's a card which has kind of underperformed. It's always fine, obviously. Like it's not like that card can ever be like bad, right. But it's not great.
It is definitely not great. Yeah.
Ooh, here's a nice pickup. There's an improvised club here, which works nicely with your double Rally and double Deceive the Messenger. There's also a Fall of Care Andros, the enchantment for 3 that you can pay 8 mana to deal 7 to a creature. Mm-hmm. I just haven't found that card to be good.
And this is the one that rewards your like burn spells or something? No.
Whenever you deal excess non-combat damage to a creature, you get to amass.
Okay, so it does do that, yeah. Pack 3, pick 7. There's an Isolation at Orthanc, another Kingfisher, Knights of Dol Amroth, and there's a Lembas. I would just take Isolation. Yeah,
and it's solid to have one.
I think I do like having
one. I do like having one in all the blue decks I have.
Yeah, me too. And we could use
and I'd play multiples.
More. You do?
I would play multiples. Yeah, I think it's totally fine.
I do too. Okay, here's another improvised club. Pack 3, pick 8. I like it over a third Deceive the Messenger or a second Willow Wind. We're unlikely to play the first one.
Yeah.
All right, we be clubbing. This is good.
Little light on Tempted by the Ring, as it turned out.
That is true.
Ended up with just like 3 cards, I think, that did it.
Yeah, and we may not even play this Inherited Envelope. Okay, we did wheel the Pelargir Survivor out of that pack, so...
No, that's great.
Ship it. That was what we were hoping for. Have you played Mirror of Galadriel much?
I have tried to play the card and it's been pretty bad.
That's how I felt too. And when it also doesn't pass the test of when my opponent plays it, I'm like, oh, good. You do that. Pack 3, pick 10, Greyhaven's Navigator and Olagai Crusher. Whatever, I'll just take a Navigator, I guess.
Yeah, you're not playing either of those cards.
Right. We wield the Goblin Fire Leaper.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Sure, that'll replace something worse. Pack 3, pick 12, Bill Fernie, Bree Swindler. No. And we finally wield an Ithilien Kingfisher.
I honestly think that like blue was so open that this draft that we got a little unlucky not to get better blue cards because no one was taking them. But
yeah, in the third pack, it definitely fell off a little bit for us. Okay, so let's take a look at this deck. As it sits, we've got 17 lands, which we'll probably play 16. And then we're at 52 cards to cut as it stands. So we're going to have to start cutting some stuff. So I'll cut one land for starters.
Yeah, I like 16 land here.
And then, so let's go through, I'll go through each of the mana slots and we'll start cutting stuff. So right now at the 1-drop slot, we've got double Deceive the Messenger, double Stern Scolding, Rohirrim Lancer, and then technically Fear Fire Foes at mana value 1. Would you cut any of these? Like any obvious cuts here?
No, I don't think so. It is possible that Rohirrim Lancer ends up getting cut because you're not realistically going to get to Tempted by the Ring.
Okay, so we'll put that
that's
on the
one to
chopping
keep an
block.
eye on for sure.
Then at the two Hithlane Knots, I would just cut both of those.
Yeah, you can. You don't have any spell matters cards,
no,
so it seems fine to do that.
We've got like 11 cards to cut here, so those are 2 easy cuts. Pelargir Survivor, I would keep. Battlescar Goblin, I would cut.
Yep. I like cutting that.
Yeah, I like Fire Leaper and both Improvised Club, and then both Rally at the Hornburg. I would keep all those.
Yep.
3 drops, we've got Greyhaven's Navigator. I'd cut that. We have 2 Ithilien Kingfisher. I cut at least one of these, if not both. Treason and Isengard, I would cut.
Yeah.
I would keep both.
I think you might end up keeping the Kingfishers in this deck. But
okay, I have it down to 1 right now, but I'll keep that in mind. Saruman's Trickery ×2. The Haradrim Spearmaster, I think I would probably keep it. And then an Inherited Envelope, which I think I would cut here.
Yeah, I think the envelope is a pretty easy cut.
Yeah. And then we've got Arwen's Gift, Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, which is probably still going to make the cut, but the lack of ring tempting means that it's a much different card than we normally have. The Isolation of Orthanc, the Bath Song, the Rangers of Ithilien, and the Foray of Orcs. I like all of those. The Arwen's Gift is the closest to getting cut for me.
Yeah, I think once you end up looking at the 5s, you're going to end up cutting Willow Wind and War Beast.
Okay, I'll just cut them right now. So that
and then you can cut the Rohirrim Lancer because you cut all the other tempted cards. You just have the Rangers, which obviously gets there on their own. Mm-hmm. And that leaves us at 41.
Yes. With 2 Oliphant at 6, and then the Eomer of the Rittermark and Lorien Revealed. I think it might be Arwen's Gift. We do have Bath Song and Lorien Revealed already.
Yeah.
It could be a Stern Scolding. Like it's one of those two, I think.
I do like Stern Scolding though.
Okay, let's kill the gift then. I like Arwen's Gift.
You also have a lot of high end already.
We have a good high end. Yeah, this is pretty good.
It's a good deck. The only thing it would have been nice is picking up a couple more Tempted by the Ring cards. But other than that, honestly, this is quite good. I mean, you just have Foray of Orcs, Fear Fire Foes, Eomer as just pretty hard-hitting cards. Double Saruman's Trickery is nice. And then Bath Song, Lorien Revealed to draw some extra cards.
Yeah. We got pretty lucky, I think, with some of these. Do you want to revisit the Ithilien Kingfisher? We have one in right now. Do we want the second over like the Spearmaster or something?
I actually like Spearmaster with all your 1/1s. Okay. I think this will work out all right.
Okay, so here's the deck, the final version. Oh, and do you like 8 and 8?
Yeah.
Okay. The final version is 2 Deceive the Messenger, 2 Stern Scolding, and a Fear Fire Foes at 1. 2-drop slot is Pelargir Survivor, Goblin Fire Leaper, 2 Improvised Club, and 2 Rally at the Hornburg. I think those Improvised Clubs ended up being really good. Like, we have a lot of we have 2 rallies plus like the 2 Saruman's trickeries, the 2 deceives. Like we're going to have like a 1/1 orc that we can just chuck away and then replace pretty easily. So I like that a lot. 3s is an Athelian Kingfisher, double Saruman's trickery, and the Haradrim Spearmaster. 4-drop slot is stacked. We've got Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, Isolation of Orthanc, the Bath Song, Rangers of Athelion, and Foray of Orcs. So if we get to 4, we got bangers. 5 is Lorien Revealed and Eomer of the Rittermark, and our 6s are 2 Olifants. With 3 land cyclers, is it considered to go down to 15?
You could. I think it's not unreasonable to cut. You could have cut 1 mountain from this and get 1 more Kingfisher in. But your curve's high enough, and I don't really mind casting these land cyclers, that I think I would be fine with 16.
Okay. I don't mind either, and I'm going to keep it at 16 for this one. Okay. So that was the first one. Now we're going to do a traditional. But for you listening at home, it should basically be the same experience. Yeah, that deck was pretty good. It is interesting going back to the pick with the blue-red Gandalf the Gray.
Yeah.
And it's like, that would go pretty good in this deck. Like in retrospect, right? Wouldn't hate it.
It was a tough spot because we couldn't have everything we wanted, but I do think that Eomer is just a safer pick. Also, given the double improvised club and the rallies, like kind of a slightly more aggressive bent to this deck, which Eomer is going to be great in. Yeah. And we didn't pick up some of the really cheap spells that I like to see with Gandalf.
Yeah. Any of the ones that have the ring temps you tacked onto them, birthday escapes and stuff like that would be good. Okay. We are queued up for our best of 3 and the table is ready. So let's jump in here and see what our pack 1 pick 1 is. Well, we got a mythic rare, but it's white. It's Gandalf the White. In fact, that's the 4 or 5 flash for 3 white. And funny enough, the next 2 uncommons are also white. It's Rosy Cotton, and the other one is Tale of Tunuvial. And then the last uncommon is colorless. It's Barrowblade. And then what stands out from the rest? The Torment of Golem. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly Torment of Golem is great.
That's the only card that stands out from all of the commons here to me as something I would even consider. So the question is, do we want to stick to the tried and true game plan of starting off with a black card and kind of hanging on for the ride, or is Gandalf the White worth it?
Oh, I would take Torment of Golem. I don't think it's actually close.
Okay.
I just wanted to verify that how it lined up, and Torment of Golem has 9% more win percentage on 17 lands than Gandalf.
Oh my God, are you serious? 9?
I mean, I really like Torment of Golem, so I'm not.
I do too. All right, we'll take Torment of Golem. Next pack up, Bill Fernie. He's just following us around. Prince Imrahil the Fair. That's the blue-white 2/2 version. Black cards? Not so much. The Black Breath is the only black card in the pack. There is a Smite the Deathless.
I do like that.
Yeah, there's also a Pelargir Survivor, Mirror of Galadriel. I would just take Smite.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just take the Smite here. It's not. There's nothing even really that close to it, honestly. Like
no, Prince Imrahil is just okay.
If Smite wasn't here, the next best card I think is Pelargir Survivor. I love that turn 2 Survivor, turn 3 Torment of Golem curve.
Oh, so brutal. Where do you have Prince Imrahil the Fair / the other blue-white cards?
I don't really like going into blue-white early. I think it's a totally fine deck if the pieces come together, but I would try to avoid like second picking Prince Imrahil.
Okay, so we've got Torment of Golem and Smite the Deathless into pack 1 pick 3, which we see Grima Wormtongue, Mordor Muster, another Torment of Golem. Only red card is Gimli's Axe, which is basically unplayable. But we got 3 good black cards here: Grima Wormtongue, Mordor Muster, and the Torment of Golem.
Yeah, I do like all of those. I would still just take Torment.
Same.
You really can't have enough. Like I had a draft where I had 4 of them, and it was still good to have 4 in my deck. Like
I'll tell you, I can't get enough.
The first 2 are always golden. The last one and the third and fourth maybe sometimes miss, but once you've landed the first 2, you're not really that worried.
Yeah, the game's kind of done at that point anyway. How close is it for you with Grima?
Not that close. Like Grima's good, but Torment is just always great.
All right, so we'll take. So our picks are Torment of Golem, Smite the Deathless, and then another Torment. And that brings us to pack 1, pick 4, where we see Shagrat Loot Bearer. That's the one I mentioned before. There's also a Mordor Trebuchet, a Relentless Rohirrim, a Gimli's Fury, and a Gimli's Axe. There's also a Glorious Gale in the pack. Do we just take this stupid Shagrat? It's just basically a 4/4, right?
I would honestly rather take the Relentless Rohirrim over Shagrat. 4 mana, 4/3 that tempts you, I think, is just a lot better there. Is
Glorious Gale on your radar at all? Like for actually picking?
I don't think you're supposed to jump colors here. Like, I'm not saying that we're locked in. We have 1 red card and 2 black cards, but I think Relentless Rohirrim is just actively good.
Okay.
So I would still I like drafting blue in this format, and I find myself blue frequently. I would still rather be red-black. So if red-black is open or somewhat open, like this pack has a bunch of white cards. It has Samwise, the Star-Hearted, Eagles of the North, Fog on the Barrow Down, and Hobbit Sting. A bunch of solid white cards. It has a Pelargir Survivor as a blue card and Willow Wind. And then Shelob's Ambush and Breaking of the Fellowship and Woe's Pathfinder. So 1 black card, 1 red card, 1 green card, a bunch of white cards, and a couple blue cards. And I'd still just take the black card here. I think the Ambush is pretty good.
It's way overperformed for a combat trick. So yeah, I like Shelob's Ambush here. So that'll bring us to pack 1, pick 6, where we've got in our deck, so in our pile so far, Shelob's Ambush, Smite the Deathless, 2 Torment of Golem, and a Relentless Rohirrim. So pack 1, pick 6. For black-red, we've got Shelob's Ambush, Snarling Warg, and Olagai Crusher. Those are the only notable cards in the pack anyway.
Yeah.
I would just take another ambush. But
I think so. I mean, I don't love taking 2 ambushes this early, but I think that it's a card I'm pretty happy to play, and I always want 1, and I'll often play 2. So I think it is totally fine to just grab the 2 here. Now you're pretty much set on them.
Yeah, and this is, by the way, not atypical for how drafts go these days, right? Like if you do put yourself into black-red, you get the benefit of, the best set of commons in the set, but you also do put yourself up against 2 to 3 other people at the table routinely. Pack 1, pick 7, there's a Rohirrim Lancer here.
Yeah. Rohirrim Lancer is great to pick up at this point in time. It's great with the ambushes. Now that you have Lancer and Relentless Rohirrim, you're well on your way to getting a good tempted slot going.
Menace plus Shelob's Ambush is a nice combo as well. Rising of the Day is the only other card in our colors in the pack. And then there's green cards. Good ones too. Entish Restoration, Chance-Met Elves, and Mushroom Watchdogs. But good green cards in the sense that there could be good green cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Pack 1, pick 8. So this is our last before the wheel. Has a Gimli's Fury and a Rush the Room, as well as an Entdraft Basin and a Barrow Blade. And then 3 green cards. I guess I would just take Gimli's Fury or whatever.
Sure. That's almost more for like signaling. You're not going to play it.
Exactly. But I don't like these uncommon artifacts either. The Basin or the Blade haven't been a thing. So I'm just going to put Fury in our sideboard. Okay, we did wheel a Relentless Rohirrim here for pack 1, pick 9. And, when you're kind of along for the ride when it comes to playables, that's a welcome sight.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of 4s now. We have 2 Torments of Golem and 2 Relentless Rohirrim, but that's fine. We just have to draft with that in mind. And I love that we have 3 Tempted by the Ring cards in the first pack, 3 good ones, the Lancer and the 2 Relentless Rohirrim, because now, I mean, I want to hit like 7 of these in my deck, and this is a great start to that.
Okay, pack 1, pick 10. Nothing. I'll just cut the Gimli's Fury. It's the only red or black card.
Certainly, yeah.
So we're just down the stretch here. Here's a Gimli's Axe, which I will cut. And another Gimli's Fury. A lot of Gimli cards late here.
Gimli got the short straw in this set. None of the Gimli cards are good. Like not Gimli, none of the cards on Gimli.
Yeah, poor Gimli. Okay, so that's it for pack 1. We have 2 Shelob's Ambush, a Rohirrim Lancer, a Smite the Deathless, 2 Torment of Golem, and a 2 Relentless Rohirrim. Pack 2, pick 1, Sting the Glinting Dagger. is our rare. And then there's a Voracious Fellbeast at uncommon, as well as Samwise Stouthearted and Friendly Rivalry. Out of the commons, nothing in our color. Oh, sorry, there's a Troll of Khazad-dûm, so a solid card, and then a Gimli's Axe. But yeah, Voracious Fellbeast, slam it.
Yeah, it's a great uncommon. Very happy to first pick that. And we've got the look of a nice kind of controlling red-black deck here with Smite, Double Torment, Voracious Fellbeast. Like, that's all good together.
What are you thinking for, you said you want to have like 6 or 7 Tempt the Ring cards. Are you trying to like have cards that say, I care about the ring being tempted, or are you just like running up the ring temp ladder?
I just want to consistently have a looter in play, because that's how you win these lane games. And here we go, because one of the uncommons in this pack is Ranger's Firebrand. Woohoo! Red sorcery, deal 2 to any target, and the ring tempts you. Nothing's remotely close in this pack. The next best card in our colors is like an Olagai Crusher. The 4-mana 4/4. So we take the Ranger's Firebrand and don't look back. This whole pack actually is just bad. There's nothing here for anyone, really.
No, there's a Morgul Knife Wound and a Breaking of the Fellowship in our colors to go with that Crusher. We're not getting anything back out of this pack. Let's just put it that way. But Ranger's Firebrand is awesome and exactly what we wanted to see here. Okay, so that brings us to pack 2, pick 3, where we have a mythic rare Storm of Saruman. There's also a Shire Sheriff and a Gwaihir the Windlord. And then in our colors at common, there's an Erebor Flamesmith, an Improvised Club, and another Olagai Crusher. No black cards. Actual no.
Black's not really that open, but I think that's still okay. Like, you just need one of your 2 colors to be open, especially when they're as deep as these. I don't know which of these is better. The Flamesmith and the Improvised Club, neither of them have gotten there in this deck. We have 6 spells so far. We don't have a lot of sack stuff, though the ambushes put food into play that you can sack. Mm-hmm. I'd probably take Improvised Club. I think that card is just, you always have something to throw to it.
It definitely has a higher upside as well. Okay, pack 2, pick 4. Rivendell is the rare. Horses of the Brinen, whatever, is the uncommon. That was our preview card, if you remember. Only black card is Sam's Desperate Rescue, but there are 4 red cards: Breaking in the Fellowship, another Improvised Club, an Olagai Crusher, and a Rush the Room. So it's basically Sam's Desperate Rescue or Improvised Club number 2. Probably should just take the Rescue, right?
Yeah, no, Sam's Desperate Rescue. First of all, I love having it with Voracious Fellbeast, and second, you have 3 ring tempting creatures, so that plus a rescue already gets you there, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. The first Improvised Club I like. The second one I will play in many decks, but this deck doesn't have that yet. So we want to kind of make sure that we get that set up. Wow. Pack 2, pick 5. So black cards are Morgul Knife Wound, Orcish Medicine, and Sam's Desperate Rescue. But there's a red card. It's Smite the Deathless.
Perfect.
What are you doing here? Get in my pile.
I think that red is open. I mean, we're getting 5th pick Smites from this direction. We took all the red cards going the other direction. So
true.
I feel like we're going to have a deck that's really like supported by red, or rather the main color is going to be red. It's going to have some deep good black cards, because Double Torment Voracious Fellbeast is fantastic. The fact that we don't have tons more black cards isn't the biggest deal.
Okay, and another good red playable here. In fact, there's also a good black playable too. So pack 2, pick 6 has an Uruk-hai Berserker, which you must love that card if you're all about the ring temps. And then there's also, though, a Rally at the Hornburg. This is
looking like a Berserker deck to me. You already have 4 Tempted by the Ring cards. This would be your 5th. It's really nice with Sam's Desperate Rescue. It's also pretty nice with Shelob's Ambush. Mm-hmm. 3/2 is a stat line your opponent often throws something in front of, and spending 1 mana to win the fight and get a food is pretty nice.
It's also our first 3-drop, so it starts to get that curve a little bit more settled. Pack 2, pick 7. Nothing for us. There's a Cast into the Fire in red, and there's no black cards.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind having a Cast into the Fire. Also, this is best of 3.
Yeah, so sideboard card.
You get to sideboard it in if you need it.
I feel so smart. Pack 2, pick 8. Reprieve, Celeborn the Wise, Long List of the Ents, Pelargir Survivor, Morgul Knife Wound, Shire Scarecrow, Chance Med Elves. That's what we're looking at.
I would just take the Knife Wound that you know you're not going to play.
I'll put it right in my sideboard.
I mean, we have 14 playables right now. We're going to be fine going into pack 3 here, especially since we could pull a Cast into the Fire into the deck if you need to.
I was going to say, what are we going to wheel? But the answer is nothing. We kind of scrape by in those early picks. I don't think we're getting much back. There's a Gimli's Axe, pack 2, pick 9. Again, only card in our colors. I'll take it. Sure, why not? And then there is another Morgul Knife Wound, a Breaking of the Fellowship, and an Old Guy Crusher.
The good news is all the red and black cards in this pack wheeled, partially because they were all kind of bad. But honestly, I might Breaking of the Fellowship here. You have a lot of 4-drops already.
Okay.
I don't think you're like going to be the most excited to play any of these cards. Oh, look, here you get an Old Guy Crusher anyway.
Yeah, I had selected the Old Guy Crusher, but Louis said, go for the Breaking. So we took that and then got the Crusher anyway. These are not the cards that you want to get excited about, but there they are. And then and somehow Pack 2
Once
Pick
again,
12 has both Breaking of the Fellowship and Old Guy Crusher in it.
Look, it's not like putting Breaking of the Fellowship or Old Guy Crusher in your deck is that bad. Like you just put those cards in your deck, they're still serviceable. We're not going to not have enough playables. We already have 17 here.
Yeah.
And even if we wanted to cut a couple of these, like even if 3 of them are cards we want to cut, it's fine. We'll end up doing that.
Okay, so that brings us to Pack 3 Pick 1, where we've got Golem's Bite. That's the -2/-2. But there's also some nice stuff here. There is a Dunlin Crabane.
Love it.
Yeah. So is this what do you?
So I think Dunlin Crabane is better than Golem's Bite in the dark, just because 3 mana for a 1/1 plus a 2/2, and the 1/1 even has flying is just such a good deal. Makes your Sam's Desperate Rescue better. Good with sack stuff like Improvised Club, great Ring Bear, all that stuff. But in this deck, even more, you already have Ranger's Firebrand, double Smite the Deathless, double Shellob's Ambush. Like you certainly want the Crabane here. I don't think it's particularly close. I could see going into Pack 3 if you have a lot of 3-drops and you're light on removal going the other way, but not in this deck. Oh, that is nice.
Hello.
We just got past a Palantir of Orthonk. That's the 3-mana legendary artifact at Mythic Rare that basically you scry 2 every turn and then your opponent lets you draw a card. Because the first couple times they'll make you mill and they'll lose a bunch of life, but then it's just scry 2, draw a card every turn. And now this kind of controlling deck with double Torment, double Smite, Ranger's Firebrand, like just getting a Palantir out when you're killing all their stuff is just awesome.
Why did this get passed to us?
I don't know. Someone took like an Eomer or
okay,
like
maybe
someone took an uncommon. An uncommon is gone. I mean, I could construct uncommons that you'd take over it, but not very many.
Yeah, it's just tough because like colorless. This is Pack 3 where you really want it.
Oh, it wasn't an Eomer.
God. Well, Pack 3 Pick 3 has Minas Tirith as a rare, Gorbag of Minas Morgul as an uncommon, and then 2 more uncommons in our colors as well: Voracious Fellbeast and an Eomer of the Rittermark. Well, we've already got a Fellbeast.
Yeah, you should take the Eomer. I was wondering if because Fellbeasts do stack kind of nicely, but
they do. I it's probably close in the deck we have, but Eomer is so good.
Yeah, just Tormented to Eomer as a 4/5 curve is just so disgusting. Yeah, just take the Eomer. Also, like playing an Eomer on 5 and a Fellbeast on 6 is a lot better than having 2 Fellbeasts in hand.
That's true.
But what a good pack and a good sign. And then this pack has a Gandalf the Grey, which obviously would still be pretty good in this deck.
Actually, it would be, yeah.
But there's also a Book of Mazar Bul. That's the saga that amasses, then gives all your creatures menace. And a Rally at the Hornburg. But my guess is you're supposed to just take the book here. It's a good card.
I feel like we should probably just throw the book at him. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's a little boring.
You even just picked up Palantir and Eomer. You're not short on power. Why add a 3rd color when this deck doesn't need to?
Exactly. The Improvised Club, if we get one more of those, I think I would now play a second one, no problem. Wow. Okay. Next pack has Ugluk of the White Hand. This is the 2 black-red 3/3. Whenever the creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Ugluk. If that creature was a goblin or orc, you put 2 counters on it instead. Then there's also a Rohirrim Lancer. Battle-scarred goblin. I guess we just take Ugluk, but it's whatever,
I would take Rohirrim Lancer. I think Lancer's a lot better.
Okay, good. I think it's better too, but I don't know. Is that what we want to be doing? I guess it is.
Yeah, you've got a lot of ring tempting stuff. Adding another to the pile is good. Ooh, a 6-pick Ranger's Firebrand. See?
What is going on?
Part of the reason this deck's much better than the other deck, and part of the reason is this deck now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that tempt you. This deck's just going to have a consistent looting theme going. And has some good bombs to draw into with Eomer, Fellbeast, Palantir. So, yeah, this deck is hot. Also, the fact that we're going to have almost exactly like 24, 25 playables and not need to cut much, that's fine because our first 23 cards are going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Pack 3, pick 7. There's a Gore Bag of Minas Morgul, the Black Breath, and an Erebor Flamesmith. There's also a Wizard's Rockets.
You know, with 10 spells, not counting the breakings of the Fellowship, the Flamesmith seems like it's probably fine. Yeah, I think with double Firebrand Improvised Club, and who knows, we might pick up another club. Well,
can I upgrade you to triple Firebrand Pack 3,
sure.
pick 8?
Yeah. This deck has a legit chance of going Flamesmith, Firebrand U, Club U, take 8 or whatever. So,
do we have too much removal? Question I never get to ask.
The Palantir goes nicely with this. I mean, this deck is sick. Well, we have five removal spells plus the Torments of Golem and the Fellbeast. It's pretty nice. And the Improvised Club. Yeah,
Pack 3, pick 9. We've got a Kirith Ungol Patrol and a Relentless Rohirrim. So I guess I
just keep taking the Rohirrim. I mean, you kind of can't have too many Ring Tempt You cards because excess ones you get to loot away. Mm-hmm. So there's not really much of a drawback to having like, oh no, I drew the third Relentless Rohirrim. It's like, well, the first 2 got you to looting. Just loot it away if that's not what you want.
Right. Pack 3, pick 10. We pick up a Battle Scarred Goblin over nothing else. Pack 3, pick 11. I guess we take a Gore Bag, but the card has not been real.
No, it's been a real Gore Bag.
It is. And then 3 green cards in classic Lord of the Rings fashion here to finish things off. Pack 3, pick 12. I'll just take whatever, a Watchdogs. And then 2 red cards. Pack 3, pick 13. There's another Battle Scarred Goblin. And then a Surrounded by Orcs is our last pick. Okay, so let's take a quick look here at what our curve looks like and what our playable situation is. So we are currently, if we play 17 lands, which it looks like we will here, we're at 45 cards, so we need to make 5 cuts. We're looking at 13 creatures right now. Let's start with the ones again. Sam's Desperate Rescue, that is uncuttable here. Shelob's Ambush, do we want both of them? We ended up being very controlling.
I think you might play one of them, just because I don't think you have so many creatures and you have tons of removal, so I think one is probably good.
3 Rangers Firebrand and 2 Rohirrim Lancer. Man, our ones are just
perfect.
Awesome. 2 drop slot. We currently have 2 Battle Scarred Goblins.
I predict you're going to cut one of them.
Okay. I'll cut one for now. And then 2 Breaking of the Fellowship. We don't want either of these.
No,
right?
You'll cut both of those.
Okay. And then I think the Flamesmith makes it.
Yeah, Flamesmith is good.
Yeah.
I like it more than the second Battle Scarred Goblin in this deck.
Yeah, I think so too. Improvised Club and 2 Smite the Deathless. 3s, we've got Dunlin Crabane, Uruk-hai Berserker, Book of Mazar Bul, and a Palantir of Orthonk. That's pretty good 3 drops. 4s, we got double Torment of Golem. Here's our cut. An Olagai Crusher.
Yep.
And then 3 Relentless Rohirrim. They really are relentless in our deck. And then our 5 is an Eomer of the Rittermark. And our 6 is a freaking Voracious Fellbeast.
Oh, this deck's great. And we got to cut all the bad cards.
Yeah.
The worst card we have in the deck still is like 1 Battle Scarred Goblin.
Yeah.
And I think that's totally fine. Every other card is just a premium card.
Yeah.
Like
these are
we're talking
great.
Torments and Smites and Firebrands, the good uncommons, the Palantir. Like, yeah, this deck's really good. This deck's consistent. It's got lots of removal. It's got lots of ring tempting. It's got some bombs. I mean, this is just a perfect deck. Like, this deck is the exact deck that you want to draft when you sit down, to draft Lord of the Rings. And I would take this deck at the Pro Tour right now. This deck is busted.
Yeah, I think I would really like your chances.
Really, the only complaint I have is if we could swap 1 Ranger's Firebrand for a Claim the Precious, this deck could have problems with like a 5/5. But you also have double Torment to take it out of their hand, and you have Voracious Fellbeast. So if you can, Firebrand and Smite their other creatures, you can set up a Fellbeast. Plus that 1 Shelob's Ambush does let you take it out if you need to.
That's true. And, sometimes you have to block with your 2/2 and then Smite the Deathless to finish the thing off if it's a big problem. Not really where you want to be, but yeah. All right. So what's your prediction for our 2 decks here?
The first one looks like a 2-1 or a 1-2. Oh, sorry. I guess it's out of arena runs. The first deck looks like a 4 or 5 win deck.
Okay.
This deck looks like a 7 win deck.
Yeah. or a 3 in this case, but yeah. Okay. So
yeah, I was just using whatever the metric you want to use. This deck is going to get the max wins, I believe, and the other deck is not.
Okay, yeah. And by the way, I didn't mention the lands, but we've got 8 swamps and 9 mountains.
Yeah.
We do have the triple Rangers Firebrand, double Rohirrim Lancer that we want to hedge our mana towards.
The mana is also great in this deck. You don't have any double colored cards except one Voracious Fellbeast, so you really shouldn't have much of problems with mana.
Man, I think I've only had a Palantir of Orthonc once, and it was great, but like we got it passed to us. Like, what in the world? All right, well, I'm excited to play those ones out, and I'll try to record it if I can. Usually, I can do that and then put it up on the LR YouTube channel just to see how I did. Any other Lord of the Rings thoughts before we take off, Luis?
I think that a big part of doing well in this format is understanding that black is the best color, but also overdrafted. Understanding green is the worst color, but also underdrafted. It doesn't mean you should avoid black and go to green, but it also means you have to understand that sometimes you can't draft black and sometimes you have to draft green. So it's actually a delicate balance there because, if I had to bet at the Pro Tour in my 2 drafts, I will probably draft black both times and blue one of the 2 times is like the most likely outcome. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we'll see. But it doesn't mean I'm going to necessarily do that. Just like going into March of the Machines, I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to draft blue every draft. I drafted blue, white, and blue, black. And It's not that I'm going to force it. I'm not going to take Breaking of the Fellowship over a good white card or whatever, anything like that, or, pass on like a great green card for a mediocre blue card. But you just have to know going in, you should be actively looking to draft black and to some extent red and blue, and actively not looking to draft green, and try to read the signals. This is an important set to reading the signals. And the other thing, it takes a little courage to do. You have to also be willing to draft a color that when it's cut off, if that color is black or red. Like in this draft, I don't think black was open.
Right.
Like, look at the black cards. If you want to go back to the deck for a sec, the black cards we have are 2 Torments. We have a Dunlin Crebain, and we have a Voracious Fellbeast of our premium black cards. We have 4 premium black cards and then 3 non-premium black cards, 7 black cards total.
Yep.
Black was clearly not open. That being said, do I think we should have drafted a different color? No, I don't. I'm not saying that. Like, we first picked black cards, 2 of the 3 times? And we ended up getting past a couple good black cards, and that was enough because red was open. Now, if red wasn't open, yes, our deck would be terrible.
Yes.
But we would have probably, ideally, figured out that and jumped ship on one of the 2 colors. You really just need one of the good colors to be open. Now, if you're drafting something like green has to be open for you to even consider drafting it. And ideally, whatever your second color is at least somewhat open, just because green's not going to carry you by itself. But black and red, if you can get one of the 2 colors open, the other just not that open, you can still end up with a great deck.
Is there really a world where you draft green at the PT? Like, what I want to know what that like actually looks like, right? Because you're not going to start there under any circumstance, right?
I mean, look, I had a draft the other day that I posted for my team, and they asked me, and I 3-0'd with a green deck. It was like green black, splash a couple of cards off Great Halls. And one of my teammates was like, hey, how did you get into the deck? Why did you draft green? And it's like, because my opening pack, pick one, was Delighted Halfling, the green for a 1/2 that taps for any color for a legend or just taps for a colorless. Over like the best non-green card was like a Soothing of Smeagol, Bounce and Tempt. Okay. And I think the Halfling's really good. So it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to take like a 6 out of 10 blue card over like an 8 out of 10 green card. I'm not like saying I'm going to draft green, but I'm going to make this pick. And then green was just very open. Like I got past a bunch of good green cards of higher rarities too. Okay. I think for me to draft green at the PT, I would need to have a really disparate opening pack where it's like, do you want to take Radagast, right? Like the 4-mana 2/5 that draws you a card every time you play a creature?
The best green card, yeah.
Or do you want to take Sam's Desperate Rescue? Pick one. Well, I'm not so far down the black rabbit hole that I would take Sam's Desperate Rescue there, but I could start with Radagast and go see if it goes from there. Or I start by taking black and or red and or blue cards, but then I get, this is the PT. Everyone else is going to have practice. They're going to be on top of their game, and they're going to understand these things. And then maybe 4th or 5th pick, I see like just a premium green card, and it's like, well, okay, we're getting a fifth pick green card that is actually good. I guess we could consider like an Old Man Willow or something like that when I already have some black cards. Like that's the sort of thing that can go in,
Okay.
kind of guide me down that path.
But even then, you're still pairing it with one of the colors that you actually like.
Yeah, I don't think it's feasible that I would draft green white unless I got a seventh pick Frodo Baggins and then an eighth pick second Frodo Baggins. And then it's like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, like you just really can't draft green white and expect to do well. I have not found those decks to be good at all.
Yeah, green white and green blue have been horrible performers. You never see them, and when you do, they never do anything. Okay. When are you leaving, by the way? Are we having you on next week, or am I?
I'm leaving on Tuesday for Barcelona, and you are.
So we either record Monday, or I'm having a guest next week.
Yeah, I guess that's what we're
in case
at.
we don't record Monday, good luck. Everybody can tune in. I'm not going to be able to make it to the PT this time because I have a bunch of stuff to care for my mom that I talked about at the top, and it just felt too soon, to go. But and it'll be weird. This is the first time I missed going to the PT in like 10 years or something, and not commenting it, the finals or whatever in 5 or 6 years or something like that. So maybe even longer. But yeah, so that feels a little bit weird. But I will be watching and rooting for you from home, Luis. So run it up, man.
That's the plan.
All right. If you want to find us on social media, Marshall_LR and Luis's LSV, pretty much everywhere. If you want to support us, it's patreon.com/limited resources, as I mentioned at the top. You can find everything, including a link to our Patreon, including a link to Luis's YouTube channel that I mentioned at the top, and everything else that we do on the front page of lrcast.com. On the episodes tab, you'll find every episode we've ever published. You can listen to LR number 1 when we had no idea what we were doing. That was me and Ryan making it up as we went. And you can go back and listen to set reviews of sets, as they come up for Flashback. I saw that Neon Dynasty's back up on Arena this week, or I don't know how long, but right now. And if you want to listen to some people listen to the Sunset Show to kind of get an idea for what ended up working and what we liked. Some people listen to the set review for that because it goes card by card and they can kind of get an idea of what's going on. And some people even listen to both to try to get a grasp on an older format. It's all there at lrcast.com. That's going to do it for this show. We'll see you next week.
Well, with you not in Barcelona for like you said, the first Pro Tour you've missed in 10 years.
Yeah. Feels weird, man.
It does. I kind of want to talk about that because when the MPL happened, that was the first time I had started missing premier events because there were these Mythic Championships that you could only be invited to if you were in the MPL or got a special invite. I got an invite to one of them, but there was a bunch that I didn't plan, didn't go to. And so it's weird because it's simultaneously a few things. One, the Pro Tour will be poorer for you not being there. Like you're part of the broadcast team.
Thank
you. You're the best play-by-play in the business. And obviously everyone loves watching you. That said, the show will go on, and that was something I had to kind of reconcile as well when I started missing these tournaments. It's like, wow, I haven't missed a tournament in so long. I'm not going to be there. And as it turns out, the tournament still happens. The tournament happens. People have a good time. A winner is crowned. I'm certainly going to miss seeing you, and there's going to be tons of people at home. I think more so than just a player in the tournament, the voice of the tournament, like that is going to be a loss that's deeply felt. Obviously, everyone's going to be hoping you are at the one after that, and I think there's a pretty good chance of that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny because it's both comforting that these things can happen without us, right? Because obviously, like you want these to still happen. As disappointed as I was not to play in these tournaments, I was glad the tournaments were happening. I was glad people were attending them and having fun. And I'm sure you're glad that the broadcast is going to continue. They're not shutting down the broadcast because Marshall Sutcliffe didn't show up.
No, it is a totally different perspective. Yeah. And it is comforting in some way.
So basically, it's great that these things still happen without us. It is a little sad to see that they can't happen without us because, obviously you want to feel like you're integral to the success of these things. And I again, no argument. You make them a lot better. So I guess just take solace in the fact that there's going to be an awesome show. It would be better with you, and everyone's rooting for you to be back. Plus, if we're lucky, Cedric will just really screw up, and people demand that you come back. Cedric's also great at play-by-play, by the way.
So I have full faith in him and the rest of the team to do a great job with it.